Hello and welcome to another Canterbury College SolidWorks tutorial video. Today we're going to be looking at how to do revolved boss and base and cutting as well. So we're going to look at how to revolve an object. So start off, we're going to start with a new part as usual. Okay, so obviously when we're doing revolves, what we're basically talking about is taking our 2D sketch and revolving it around a central axis. That's the best way to think about it. This is really useful if you want sort of cylindrical objects or anything with that sort of cylindrical profile that can change. So what we're going to start off with is something fairly simple. So if we go for revolved boss base, because obviously we want to start by adding material as usual, but this time rather than doing the extrude, we're going to do revolve, so it spins it around. So we click on that. Again, select a plane. I normally start on the front plane as usual, and we've got our origin in the middle there. So first off, we're going to need to draw our sketch that we want to revolve. I'm going to use the line tool because it's a little bit of a complicated shape, but it's not too bad. And we're just going to sketch this shape out. So it's just something very simple like this. Nothing massively complicated. Looking as we go to make sure all the bits line up. Now, straight away we can see that all of the lines have got their horizontal or vertical relations on them, which means we know that they're perfectly straight, they're all nicely lined up. Now for the sake of ease, I'm going to link the two bits on the end so that I know that they're constantly the same height. Easiest way to do that is if you just click on the line, then hold Control on your keyboard down, and then click on the other line. What that does is basically select both, much like it does on any other program, and then what you've got here is both of them selected up here, and you've got your relations again. Now I always like the collinear relation because it keeps life nice and simple, and what that basically means is that both of these lines want to be in line with each other, so it's just thrown in this dotted grey line for us to show that, and we're going to tick that. Okay. Now we've got to put some smart dimensions on it. Obviously we're trying to fully dimension the object, make it fully defined, so I'm going to make this end here 15, just so we know the height of it. There we go. And then we're going to make it 8 along this way, so that's 8 there. We're going to make the other one the same, so we're going to make that one 8 as well. Now because we've obviously put that collinear relation in, they've already changed to both the same height, and then we're going to make this bit let's say 80 long. Okay, so let's obviously put it off to one side a bit, and let's make this middle bit here quite thick, so let's make that 10. Okay, so that's obviously all worked out in millimeters. Now even though that now has every dimension I know it needs on there, it's still blue, so it's still underdefined. So if we just click off the Smart Dimension tool, we can prove this by, if you've ever got a blue line, clicking on it and wiggling it. Easiest way to see what's wrong with it. So if I just take this line here because it's blue and I wiggle it, it moves side to side quite happily, but the line isn't actually moving, is it? The whole sketch is moving. Same if you just wiggle any other part, they all stay exactly the same distance from each other. That tells me that they're all fully defined in relation to each other, but they're obviously not fully defined as far as SolidWorks is concerned. This is because nothing is off the origin. So we're going to lock this to the origin now, just so that we know where it is. Now, as I've said before, it's important to try and get your origin in the middle of your object. So the easiest way to do that when we're going to revolve it is put it on the middle of this line here. Now if you hover over it, the midpoint does come up. Or you can right click on the line anywhere and select midpoint. So if we select our midpoint, hold Control down on the mouse, on the keyboard again, and then click on the origin point. Again, it's selected both, we've got origin and we've got point 1, and then if we make those coincident, it means that they lock together, and then straight away it's locked up and become fully defined. Perfect. Hit our end sketch button as usual, and when we hit that, it should think about it a little bit. There we go. So on the left here we've got our options. Now first thing that comes up, axis of revolution. So basically it's asking, what do you want me to spin around? What do you want to be my center? So we could pick any one of these lines for our axis. For instance, if we click this one on the end here, there we go, it automatically jumps up showing us it's going to create some sort of bowl shape by spinning that sketch around that line. What I actually want though is I want this bottom line here. Okay, it makes a very different part, but it's just that sketch is now span around that middle. So that line now becomes the very central axis of the part. We've then got an option to select number of degrees. Obviously blind is a set distance as usual, so we could do it 360 degrees. We could make it less, so it becomes less of a thing. So there's a little section missing there now. So just make sure it's always set to 360 if you want a full rotation. Okay, and then we can just tick. Okay, there we go. So I've got my nice part there. Now, one of the most common problems is when you get a nice round object like this, a nice round cylinder, is people often want to put holes through it. Now, it's a little bit difficult here because obviously what we're thinking, alright, I'm just going to drop a hole straight through the middle of it. We click on extrude cut to start a new hole, like we would have done on the previous video, and we go to click on an edge or a face because it says click a flat face. The problem is there are no flat faces on here to click, so you click away quite happily, nothing happens. So what we have to do is we have to be a little bit clever about it, is we have to click a plane that runs through the middle of the object, which is why it was always important to keep the origin in the middle, because that way all the planes run through the middle. So if we slot through here, we can see that the front plane, when we select it, cuts right through the middle of our object. So we want that one. We're going to normal to it, so it spins round. Okay. Now we're drawing on that plane. So if we draw a nice circle in here, when we draw it, it comes up in the middle of our object, which is of course a nice easy way, but it means it's got a nice flat surface. We're just going to normal to that again so that we can see what we're doing. Now obviously draw a circle, smart to mention it. Let's make that a diameter of 4.5 so it sits in there nicely. Let's make it 3 mil from that end. And I want it to be on the centre, so I need it in line with the origin point. So the easiest way to do that is again select the origin, hold Control and select the centre point of the circle. I mean, say that I want them to be horizontally in line, and then tick that. There we go. So that's now there, it's now fully defined. We can then go to extrude cut. There we go. So as we learnt last time, the blind means that it goes out all there, or we can through all it so it goes all the way out. Now the distinct problem is because it's in the middle, it's not going to come out the other end, is it? It's only going to come out one side. Instead though, if rather than through all, we select through all both, it then does both directions, front and back. If you then changed your mind later on, you've got direction 2 here that you can change, but it's not a problem. So for that, for me, is perfect. So we tick it, there we go, and now we've got our hole going through the middle. So the only difference between that and normal really is we had to make sure we selected the plane in the middle of the object to draw on. Now one of the other things we really want to do is we want to look at how we do a revolved cut. So this basically works the same way as the revolve boss base, but it takes material away again. Okay, so we're going to look at taking some away. So revolve cut, again it starts with the message, do a flat face. Obviously we can't do that very easily, so we're going to select the front plane again. So we can click on the little drop down arrow here and then go front plane. Normal to. There we go. And this time what I want to do is I want to basically cut a channel out of this bottom section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a circle because I'm a bit lazy, it's nice and easy. Find the midpoint of that line, so again just wait for it to pop up. Drop our circle. That's going to want to be a diameter of 5. There we go. Now, because I want this to rotate, it needs something to rotate around. Now last time we used the bottom edge of the object, or the bottom edge of the sketch that we'd drawn. And this time obviously we haven't got that benefit, so what we need to do is we need to put in a thing to revolve around. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a centre line. Okay, acts as a bit of a construction line. It doesn't affect the main sketch as we said in the past, but what it does do is gives us a reference. So I'm going to drop that across there so it's horizontal, it's locked onto the midpoint of that side and the origin. Okay, so that's fully defined straight away, nice and easy. Then when we end the sketch, what should happen is SolidWorks should automatically recognise everything. Yeah, we go, perfect. So it's automatically recognised this time that that's my axis of revolution, so I can unselect it now. There you go, and select it again, perfect. Okay, so that's come up. Construction lines, it knows when you're doing a revolve cut or a revolve boss base even, if you put a construction line in, it knows that's probably what you want to be the centre of revolution, or the axis of revolution. Now if you've got multiple, obviously it will be confused, so you have to select which one you want. Not really a problem though. And then again, it's automatically selected the circle, so we can see straight away there it's done a nice little graphic showing it's going to cut round. So if we just tick it, there we go, it's cut a nice semicircular rib all the way around the bottom edge of our little piece. Okay, so that's, you know, some very simple revolve boss base and some very simple revolve cut. Now the last two things I want to just cover quickly on this one, because they lend quite nicely to it, are fillets and chamfers. We use fillets and chamfers a lot when we're producing parts to reinforce edges, take away sharp corners, that kind of thing. Now if we were looking at this part to make, or to physically produce, we'd look at it and we go, well actually this bit right here, this is a weak spot, okay, because there's a 90-degree angle there. You know, if this thing was standing up or under load, that would be a real weakness in the part, because sharp corners are a magnet for tearing forces. So to reinforce that bit, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little fillet in. So the fillet's just here, click on fillet, alright, and because I've already selected the line, it's straight away thrown up the preview graphic. So what you do have to be careful of though is that you always select exactly what you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly drop down the radius here. I want this to be a radius of 4, just to keep life nice and simple. There's lots of options on fillets, but for the time being we're just going to stick with this basic one. There are two basic ways of doing it. If you click a face, it will try and put a fillet on every edge of that face. Now obviously, even though I've got full preview on here, nothing's happened when I've clicked this face because it can't put a 4mm fillet on it. What I do want is I want a 4mm fillet on that edge. So just that edge, nothing else. So if I click on that, it straight away throws that up. Okay, and we can see there it's got the full preview. A little trick with fillets and chamfers: if it doesn't put the preview up, it means it can't do it because it doesn't fit. So sometimes it's worth just rolling down through the radiuses or the length just to change it until the preview comes up. But you do have to make sure you have full preview turned on. Okay, so let's just tick that. Because fillets are nice and simple, you just click the edge that you want and the radius that you want and it works itself out. Same thing for chamfers really, only difference is to get to a chamfer you do the drop down box under fillet and you get chamfer. Okay, basic chamfers are done by angle and distance. We've got the angle set at 45 degrees, that's pretty standard. We tend to leave it at that unless you're being really complicated. As a rule 45 degrees is fine. We're going to change this down to a nice little 3. So it's not too big, and again we're just going to click on our edge that we want to chamfer. So I'm going to click on this edge up here to reinforce the top edge, just to show the difference. There we go, and straight away that's thrown in that nice little chamfer on there. So the main difference between obviously fillets and chamfers is fillets give you that nice domed radiused edge, which looks a bit more natural, a bit flowing. Chamfers are a nice straight edge. What you tend to find people use chamfers a lot for is just taking off the sharp edges of an object. So if we were perhaps look at this top edge, it looks quite sharp on these edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop in a little chamfer on those edges. It's going to be a little chamfer, so let's put this in at 1mm. And what we're going to do is going to click on this edge, and we're going to click on this edge. Okay, and straight away we can see that they've popped up, so that's fine. Tick it. There you go, and what we've done is we've just chamfered off the top edges there. I can see straight away that that's interfering with my hole there. Nothing major though, but it does take off the sharp edge on the top of the object. Okay, I think that's about it really. That's the basics of how to use the sort of chamfer, the fillet, how to do revolve boss base, and how to do the revolve cut. Okay, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.